cannot take this anymore. Saying everything I said before. All these words, they make no sense. I find bliss in ignorance. Less I hear, the less you say. You'll find that out anyway. Just like before. Everything you say to me takes me one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. I need a little room to breathe, 'cause I'm one step closer to the edge. I'm about to break. I find the answers aren't so clear. Wish I could find a way to disappear. All these thoughts, they make no sense. I found bliss in ignorance. Nothing seems to go away. Over and over again. Just like before. Everything you say to me takes me one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. I need a little room to breathe, 'cause I'm one step closer to the edge. I'm about to break. Everything you say to me takes me one step.
That's right. Number 45 still playing up. Helps if you fix it. That looks pretty nice under there now. I think we're going to get lucky here. I know what the sign of a good seeding job looks like. I know what a poor one looks like, and this looks like it's going to be okay. Hopefully. Hopefully. Let's say touch wood again. 45's in here somewhere. 45's that one. Yep. Sounds blocked too. Okay, she's using some power. I'm only at 8 Ks now. A little bit less, 7 Ks, and I'm using 88% power. 45 again, seriously. Turns out 45 had a plug in the bottom of him, so it's all sorted now. Nice little block happening on the check back here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's see if that happens again. Yeah, I love it. Go, through you go, come on. There's just so much trash in that check bank area there. Dear, oh dear, oh me. Get a nice run, it goes pretty good. I'll jump out in a second, have a bit of a look at the height, but I already know it's in more than an inch deep, so I think even if it is riding out a little bit, it's probably going to be spot on depth. The other thing that can happen in situations like this is the row or the tine tends to slot a little bit and doesn't push as much dirt back into where you want, but we're in pretty good ground here. It's heavy clay, or it's clay, but it's not heavy clay. I think there'll be enough sort of trash and stuff to keep everything covered up anyway. And it's that moist, I'm not worried about compaction or press wheels or anything. As long as there's dirt over the top of it, it'll grow. It's wet as hell underneath, so just try and keep an eye on all the coulter wheels. You can see the front ones are running clean, so I know the front row's fine. It's the back 2 rows that I'm a little bit nervous about. But in the heat of the day, I think it's going to be okay. I'll go and have a look after a couple more rows. Need to run into my little burning patch here, so I might have to skip over him for a little bit. Slowly coming back in power, so it's probably slowly getting better as we go here. Back to 80, so I might go up and click. I really want to be doing about that, 8 Ks. That's 8 Ks in the GPS, so really want to be doing about that 8 Ks, try and get this ground covered. can see the occasional lump coming out of the middle there, but I'm not seeing any blocks so far. Maybe just filled one up there now, I think. And that, she's cleared itself. There is a power of stuff in over these check banks there, not very good. The problem is all of the hay's been raked off the sides, which is fine, but you can't rake in the check bank there. It's just too hard on the wheel rake, or it's just too hard on any rake. So you just got to deal with what's left. Well, now I have. There's always going to be one or two downsides to this hay baling. Off there. I think what I'll do is I'll just once I get past this burning bit, I might actually just shift to the outside, and as I said, put the check bank on the outside and let it deal with it there instead. And you've only got one sort of spot, a couple of times dealing with the problem on the outside, so hopefully, yeah, it sort of skews all the lumps off the side. Maybe might do that now, I think, or after this run anyway. It's exacerbating the problem a little bit. Is you can see the stalks over the top of the check bank are a little bit taller from where they've harvested the corn, but had to go up to avoid hitting the check bank. So they're taller as well, not helping the situation at all. Surprisingly, I'm not having any issues with the calibration. I was a little bit nervous that the tank mode bridge, because it's super in the seat's been sitting in there for 2 weeks, and it's rained an inch on it. Usually the bottom of the tanks, where it's there's a plate that you can drain, usually it tends to wick a bit of moisture up into the bottom of the bottom of each tank, but doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be just feeding out just nicely, so that's a bit of a miracle in its own right. So I remarked the bar out. Yeah, right, Andy. 9.485 metres there. Let's talk to Jimmy on the radio. Oh, that hasn't worked, unfortunately. It's just put the problem out to the edge. Oh, it's sort of half working. Coming down this next side now. I'm just wondering if the accuracy of my remark's just a little bit off. I might need to just nudge it that way just a little bit, just to try and get the edge right on the top of the check bank to stop it blocking and carry it on, because this run's going real good. I think I was getting most of the trash in that last run just because the bar's over a bit too far this way. I think I've been getting a bit sport with all this dry sowing. I think none of the usual problems that rear the ugly head have been plaguing me have all come to the end. Joe's just sitting up here to continue spreading that paddock. We found him in before, and I asked him how much the extension got with the on the spreader, and he said it's 4,500 kilos for a spreader load, so not bad. I reckon we were getting, if you really get it ringing wet in there before, it was about 3,900, something like that, so he's getting another half a tonne and a bit. I think he could probably squeeze a bit more in there too. He's still trying to get that the splitter system sorted on it, on the splitter on the conveyor sorted, so it's loading as good as it could be. I'll go for a bit of a look down the back, make sure everything's going good still. Just picked up a couple of bits of string on that last run, so I thought now's as good a time to come and pull them out and have a bit of a look around as any time. There's one. You see, a couple of them have got straw in the back of them, but they're not mud and straw. They're the ones that do the damage. When you get mud and straw in there, it can wear the corner of the depth gauge wheel out, and sort of ruins their ability to get rid of the mud. So, got to be a bit careful. But to be honest with you, they all look like to be doing a pretty good job. You're really looking. I can deal with a little bit of mud on them because it just only raises the height a little bit. But I don't want a lot of mud on them because that makes them actually right, makes the tine right out of the ground. One press wheel block back there, I think. They all look pretty good though. There's a fair bit of mud on the wheel. Well, a little bit of mud on the seat of wheels. I'm going to have a look at the depth. So just off to the side of the centre here. Let's see how far down we are. Yeah, so that was it's about a good inch and a half. Oh, is that going to be too much? Probably not enough to worry me. It sort of gives a little bit of room if they are riding out for them to come up to that inch, which is where I really want to see it. Have another look here. Yeah, there it is there. See, that one was only an inch. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm not going to go to the effort of changing it. It's actually doing a really nice job out in the back here. Considering the conditions it's working in, it's better than I could have hoped for. See the odd seed on the surface here, which doesn't worry me too much. And I reckon it's actually from the press wheel plucking it back out of the ground. Unless I've got a blind primary or something. This one's come to a screeching halt. Oh no. Yeah, backwards. Oh, right. I have to get the hammer on him, I think. The rest of these look pretty good. Unbelievably, they look really good. I think we're just going to get away with this job, Actually, if I'm being quite honest, I'm quite stoked how that's going because I expected worse. I've done this job too many times to know when it's going to go to crap. You see, the press wheels are pretty well gummed up. So here's getting point of being a problem. That bearing's just about rooted too. And for those who are wondering, why have I got the mud scrapers up so high on these ones? Well, we found that it does almost just as good a job in conditions like this, exactly like this, as with the mud scrapers down, but they don't act like a little handbrake. So we just leave them. Just leave them up, and this is the sort of conditions where they start to run into problems, but I've done at least 10 hectares now and they're not too bad, so we'll just leave them alone. We have had many issues with them in the past. It went off. We had many issues in the past with them just becoming an absolute handbrake and just ruining the press wheels, so we just leave them up and they trundle around with a bit bigger diameter. It doesn't really matter. It's not like the depth gauge wheels where... Anyway, the sowing is going well today. We're on Wednesday now. The sowing is going quite well, so just going to pug this 115 hectares it is here. I've probably done about 30 for the day so far. It's all sprayed, so we'll just plug away at it and keep going. We might even come back to tomorrow again with the high amylase wheat we're going to be sowing tomorrow. 100 hectares or 90 hectares of high amylase wheat. Bit of a different project for us. Look out for Jimmy and Richard on the landline program soon. They'll be talking about this high amylase wheat and everything about it, but I'll go into a little bit about it as well when we get there. So another day along here. I'm not going to waffle on too much from the tractor anymore, but that marks the end of the corn bales. We had to light the rows up. They was just too wet to do anything with, and we really need to get our wheat planted in the paddock. So that's the end of that, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame for some people who are sort of looking for it and chasing it. But at the end of the day, it was just unbaleable. So we're just torching it and calling it quits for the baling for now. It was just, we did our best, but I think in hindsight we should have just left it laying flat on the ground instead of making it into rows, but we didn't, and it hasn't worked out for us, unfortunately. It would take another week of fine weather to make them even bailable, I think, and we're not going to get that. Well, now the morning's upon us, but not a very good start to the day. Last night when I pulled up, I noticed there was a bunch of oil around this turbo, and I had a bit of a noise there, and I was sort of monitoring it. It was okay earlier on in the night, but by the time I pulled up, there was a bunch of oil down the side of the engine. So you get in there and have a look what's going on. But I think one of the turbos might have done an oil seal. Anyway, I'm trying to lift this up, and because it's frosty out here this morning, the shocks are doing nothing, so I can't hold it up, and I can't lift it up. There's got to be, buddy, 40 kilos worth of bonnet there, and I can't even lift it. Now we can see my issue. Well, everywhere. I'm pretty sure it's coming out of the bottom of that pipe there. Not very nice. See there? But I'm not 100% sure why. The other thing that alarmed me is there's a bit of oil. I don't know if I can see it because of this bonnet. There's a bit of oil around these joiners here, which makes me think internally the turbo's just let go, which is not ideal. Alright, we'll have to get Oconnors out to have a look. I've got about 15 hectares there, 100 over there, 35 and then 72 over the back there, and I really want to get them done before this rain, but this doesn't look very good. I had a look at the dipstick here last night, and it was about half. It's not that much below that, and it's not losing that much, but I'm just a bit nervous that obviously it's no good the way it is, but I'm a bit nervous that it's not getting enough oil to that turbo. If the bearings on the turbo let go of, all sorts of havoc could ensue, so I don't think it's very wise to continue on. I think that would be rather dumb. Yeah. Anyway, I've got another 600. We could probably steal a turbo off if we need to, but it's going to be a fairly big major operation, and until I can lift that bonnet, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. Jesus. Anyway, I need 2 blokes to lift it up and put a stick in there, some sort of pole to hold it up. Now we're back at the end of the day. The boys from Oconnors have been here, and they figured out that this pipe here, that one in there, had a crack in it, and so they've fixed that all up. And the whole thing, we think, was started because the turbo, the big turbo that mounts directly to the exhaust ports on the head, like whatever it actually connects to there, that one of the studs is broken and one of them's missing. So I think the noise I was hearing last night, because I was hearing a noise associated with it, is the exhaust gas actually coming out past the gasket. So we've got it back together here. It's not perfect. I need to get more parts. Hopefully it'll see the rest of Sowing out anyway. But yeah, thanks to the boys at Oconnors for getting that going. Got, as I said, still 200 hectares to go. I'm going to chuck a few more out here now, and then we'll continue on. But yeah, thanks for watching this week. We'll see you all on the next one. Catch us.